Mr. Ruge, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I'd like to begin by discussing the Alliance's relationship with Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina has obtained the candidate status for NATO. At the same time, the country is on the path to EU membership. By when could Bosnia and Herzegovina become a member of the alliance, and how could security umbrella be ensured for the state?
Right. So it is true that Bosnia for many years basically has been at the starting point for membership to NATO. We know that, unfortunately, inside Bosnia, in the institutions, at this point in time, there's no agreement on moving towards membership. That is something that we cannot change. My focus right now is on making sure that the partnership between NATO and Bosnia continues to develop, and that the reform program is taken forward that we have with Bosnia and Herzegovina. So when I was in Sarajevo in August, I met with President Komšić, with the advisors of the two other members of the presidency, with the foreign minister, and we are very keen to continue working very closely with Bosnia. You could see that a year ago, a little less than a year ago, Secretary General Stoltenberg visited. You could see that at the beginning of this year, the North Atlantic Council ambassadors visited. We have an event coming up in Sarajevo next week, which is the Partnership Symposium. So we are very, very keen to develop the relationship with Bosnia.
Thank you. What is your assessment of Bosnia and Herzegovina's current security situation, and how vulnerable is it to threats to peace and stability?
Right. NATO has been involved in Bosnia for basically 30 years. It's a long time. And we feel very strongly about the territorial integrity, the sovereignty of Bosnia, and we will not allow a security vacuum to emerge. Right. Sadly, we still see secessionist rhetoric, divisive rhetoric in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's very unfortunate. It is something that we and individual NATO allies push back against. We work very closely with the Office of the High Representative. We work very closely with the European Union. So on the one hand, we have tensions. We have the kind of rhetoric that Mr. Dodik has been spreading for almost 20 years, which is unhelpful. But we are trying to do our part with international partners to push back on that.
Okay, thank you. So, in your view, how does the alliance between the president of the RS entity and his secessionist policies contribute to the spread of malign Russian influence? What implications does this pose for stability and peace across Europe?
Yeah. So in the first instance, I think it has an impact on the stability of Bosnia and on the stability of the Western Balkans region. We can see that Mr. Dodik has been visiting Moscow on a regular basis. I don't think that Moscow is going to help develop Bosnia and Herzegovina or even Republika Srpska economically, that Moscow is interested in promoting stability and a positive development in the country. So I think he's knocking on the wrong door, if you like, if that's what he's looking for. We will continue to push back on Russian attempts to undermine stability in Bosnia and Herzegovina and in the region. I think Russia's ability to create problems is limited, but Russia is looking to exploit tensions that exist.
Mr. Ruge, how satisfied are you with the current state of the alliance's relationship with Bosnia and Herzegovina, and what are your thoughts on its future development?
So, I think we can do more. I think we can, as I said initially, we can develop our partnership. Recently, Josip Birkic was here, Deputy Foreign Minister who looks after the relationship with NATO. He and I had a good conversation. I believe that the reform program is now moving forward through the interministerial kind of process in Bosnia that they need to go through. But I think there's potential, and I think we should move forward in the interest of people in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And why? NATO, if you look at the history of the past 30 years, NATO has been important in bringing stability to countries of Central and Eastern and Southeastern Europe. And that has been the basis for economic development. And really that is what people in Bosnia, and politicians in particular, should be concerned about. Economic development, keeping young people who have qualifications in the country, rather than witnessing what we're now seeing, which is a lack of economic growth, a lot of emigration towards Western Europe and the United States. That's not a good recipe for the future. So we will try and play our part. We have just strengthened our NATO headquarters in Sarajevo, adding a political unit to it, headed by an excellent Montenegrin diplomat. So we are there. We are ready to reach out and work with the institutions of Bosnia and Herzegovina in order to help move the country forward.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ruge, thank you very much for your insights. I appreciate you taking the time to answer my questions.
Thank you so much for having me. Bosnia is very close to NATO's heart and also close to my heart.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah? Thank you so much.